Okay, so don't know where we start on this really. I don't know what to say now. We're in a small beef. Actually, this doesn't do it justice. This video footage. So this is a 6 meter by 5 meter honey room. Brand new. Just had the floor fitted today. So this is a food grade hygienic floor, and this is where all the equipment will be going. We've sort of been compromising year after year after year. Finally invested in a space for the extraction process, and this is it. So it's pre-wired. All the sockets, electrics are already installed. Floors down. Just a case of hooking up the electricity now. I'm gradually bringing the equipment in. So what we'll do over the next few weeks, months is we'll do some short videos on equipment and bring them in. It's going to be a gradual process because obviously we're still extracting and still processing honey in other spaces, and it needs to be thought through where things will sit. Some equipment needs to be near sockets, some equipment needs to be attached to the floor. So that will be, and there's also obviously the process of bringing honey in, extracting and removing supers. So it's not a huge space, but it's for our size operation, a couple of hundred hives, 250 hives. It's ideal without breaking the bank and with, going silly over the top. But it's also a useful space for other things, other products, as well as the honey and other activities. So it's really pleased with it, the finish and the quality. Just trying to work out the heating of the room and what's involved in maintaining that 19-20 degrees, at least from a working temperature. We have a large honey warming cabin as well. We've got various, but we'll talk you through all those things as we bring them in. There is the logistics of some of these things are very heavy, so it's a case of getting in the right place and making sure that they're going to stay there, at least in the short term. So double glazed, insulated building, insulated floor and roof. Still a bit of an unknown in terms of heat loss and what's going to happen there. Again, just walking through how honey will come through those double doors in terms of supers, where they'll stand. Probably we'll have a plastic pallet here for goods in and goods out. There's going to be a big large warming cabinet over there somewhere. So we don't have an extraction line. It's not, we don't have 300, 400, 500 hives. We don't have a team of people at the moment or anything like that. So the extraction process is down to one person or two people at most ever need to work, and usually on their own anyway. So we've got a complement of equipment that we use. I'll walk you through them all and explain what they're used for and how. I think that'd be interesting, rather than just flashing you the honey room. And I think what I'll do is a walkthrough on each item, each extraction item, because we've got quite a range now, and the plan is to get them mostly in here. Anything that doesn't fit the process we'll get rid of, I think, as well. So it's likely that supers will come in against this wall here in 2 pallets. 40, we'll probably hold around 80 supers in here at any one time. in and out. And then, I'm just thinking through this now, either the extraction will start on this side over here. We've got a honey sump, we've got a carousel, we've got high-speed spinners, we've got screw press, we've got honey tanks for storage and settling. There's a lot of equipment. Basically, from around here, the whole way around will be its own extraction line in a way, but a manual, because we have to keep. We don't have the facility for basically to bring back 200, 400, 800 supers. So an extraction line really requires huge numbers of supers to keep it moving. That's just not how we work. So it's going to be a suite of extraction tools that will follow around that wall. I think at the moment that's the plan, and probably a pallet here for removal of bucketed honey. So we bucket our honey as well. So yeah, I think this will be that's where honey will leave. And this will work, so supers will come in here, supers here, empty supers there, extraction line starts here, all the equipment going around. We'll see. I'm even thinking differently as I do it now. Because really we want the settling tanks, from the settling tank straight to bucket. So it may be slightly different. And then we've got the centre part. I mean, there's a huge amount of space here. It doesn't look great. This is a wide angled, so it doesn't look, it doesn't give the full scale of this room really. Yeah, so I thought I'd share that. I'm going to try and make sure we do something on these, because I mean, there's a lot of beekeeping videos, but very, very little is shown of the back end. And normally what you see on the back end of honey extraction is a fleeting shot of some very expensive equipment, usually out of the price range of even a modest beekeeper, bee farmer. And so, you know, there's no point in me showing 30,000, 40,000 pound single item bits of kit and or an extraction line. But if we break it down a bit, it could be far more interesting to smaller scale beekeepers and bee farmers for that matter, and the hobby side, because there's always a question of how honey is extracted on that sort of scale. You know, we produce from our hives anywhere between 5 and 8 ton of honey a year on the best years. On the worst years, I guess we could be going down to 4 tons, something like that. But anywhere between 4 and 8 tons would go through this sort of setup. But it's about, you know, I'm kind of going to show you through this as we set it up this year over the next 6 months, because this will be fully populated by summertime, and it's a chance to sort of talk everyone through what each piece does, because it's not simply a case that to just throw an extractor in or a centrifuge in or a screw press. They all require a skill set to operate them and to get the best from them. So it might be worth doing a short video on each item, and why it's there, because even when I started, you know, I wasn't aware of some of the steps that you have to go through to get that clean bucket of honey at the end of the process, and I'll give you an idea of scale. So, you know, our setup is around, I think we've got around 800 honey supers, and we sit between 200 to 300 colonies of bees. We produce between 4 and 8 tonne of honey, and that's on the best years, 8 tonne. But I think we did 7 tonne last year, so it's more than achievable. But we live in a modest location in terms of nectar flows. That's something worth bearing in mind. So we're never going to produce 20 tonne of honey from, not because the bees aren't up to it, it's just that we don't have the forage in this area to produce it. We're not on arable farms or arable region. Sheffield and the High Peak really is it's a livestock area and a wildflower area really. So big day really, because this has just been laid today, this floor, and it's exciting because as we get the electricity plumbed in, we'll start to move the equipment in here and start to move. I mean, the first thing will come in will be one of the happy melters that we use for warming buckets and for warming honey. So it will be soon as over the next week or so, this will start to happen. Okay, it's not exciting, it's not rock and roll, but it's a bit more, it'll be a bit more focused. We're not going to, so this will be, there'll be separate videos. I think we'll do the honey room and the honey jarring side and the honey processing side. Maybe something on beekeeping. I haven't decided yet, because I don't want to just produce the same old beekeeping videos that everyone's done and repeat. But if these will sort of, I want to try and break things down a little bit, and probably give an insight, hopefully give an insight into what a small commercial outfit does to get to that sort of scale of business, especially if you're starting out, or I mean, even from a point of view of someone who doesn't keep bees and just wonders how the heck you get to go from a colony of bees to a jar of honey. And if you're a beekeeper, I kind of think it'll probably open your eyes as well into how we do it on scale, which is, it's very different to spitting out a couple of frames in your kitchen. Just the sheer scale of frames and hives you have to extract, and the size of the equipment as well. I mean, there's another league altogether, which are the big production lines that you often see where it's semi-automated. But this is very much a hands-on process for us. Sorry about the echo. It's a small room, and it's a clean room, and hopefully will stay that way. That's what it looks like, empty. That's it. All right. Thank you. And that's I say, we'll take everyone through on a bit of a journey with this and see how we go. My sort of commitment is to make sure that we do the videos, because it's easy to start on these and then beekeeping season takes over and you just don't have time. But I will do my best to take everyone through this process. It is unique. Our background and setup, it is unique. So you'll get it from our perspective, and whether it can help anyone else or whether people find it of interest, we will see. Okay, so keep an eye out for the next update. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.